This is Fitness Blender's HIIT Cardio and Abs Workout. In this workout routine, we're going to start off with a quick cardio warm-up, followed by an abs and obliques specific workout, then a HIIT cardio workout for the total body, and then we're going to finish it off with a cool down and stretch. Now, none of the sections of this workout use any equipment whatsoever, so you're not going to need anything for this routine other than an optional exercise mat. So let's go ahead and get started with our warm-up cardio. We're going to be doing each exercise for 40 seconds each, and we're going to be starting off with a boxer shuffle. Go ahead and get those feet moving. Stand up on the ball of your foot, moving relatively slowly at first. Remember, this is just a warm-up. Just take your time to slowly increase that core temperature, slowly start getting that blood pumping around your body. You don't need to go into a really quick, really intense movement at the very first. Just moving back and forth on those feet. Again, trying to stay up on the ball of your foot. Really nice quick motion, speeding it up as your body starts to feel more and more limber, more and more warm. About 15 seconds left. Just keep those lungs open. Nice full deep breath. Starting to push more oxygen into your system as much as you can. And we got about 5 seconds left until we move to our walk down cobra. And start up. Drop down like you're touching those toes. Walk out with those hands to a full plank. Drop down to the ground. Arch that chest up as you press those hands into the ground. Slowly back down. Then press into those hands, coming back up to that full standing position. Just keep alternating back and forth. Nice slow motion. Pause in each position for just a split second before you move to the next. You want to make sure that you're not starting to arch that back and come up into that cobra until you're completely flat down against the ground. Just keep that motion going. Keep those lungs open. You got 10 seconds left. We're going to be moving off to a forward twist plus a toe touch. So you're going to be doing a rotational twist on that chest. And go ahead and come up from that last one. Go ahead and stand straight up. Rotating that chest left to right. You can do it 4 times. On that 4th time, you can come down and touch a toe. And rotate again. Keep that chest straight up and down. Trying to keep those hips relatively straight forward. Rotating those shoulders as far as you can from left to right. Remember, every single time you do that 4th rotation, you're reaching down towards a foot. And make sure you reach down to a different foot every single time. About 15 seconds left. Keep it going. Keep those lungs open. Now remember, this is still your warm-up, so you're trying to open up your range of motion as much as you can, trying to warm your body up still, so don't worry about going too quickly. Now we're almost done. We're moving off to a lunge plus a shoulder stretch next. Go ahead and switch it. Lunge out with 1 foot forward. Stretch those hands back up behind you. Take your time. Again, this is still just a warm-up, so nice long step. Dropping down as low as is comfortable. Keep that rear leg extended out straight back behind you rather than bending that knee to get a little extra stretch to that hip flexor and through the front of that torso. Just keep that motion going. Alternating back and forth. Trying to get a good stretch to those hands up over your head as well as kind of leaning that torso back just a little bit to stretch those abdominal muscles and that hip flexor of the leg you're keeping behind you. Got just a few seconds left until we move to just a traditional squat. Just trying to open up that hip joint for this next one. And go ahead and switch it off into that squat. Feet wider than shoulder width apart, dropping those hips down as low as you can control. Keeping that back really nice and flat, making sure the angle of your chest and the angle of those shins is about the same. Really focusing on trying to keep weight evenly dispersed between your toe and your heel. Remember, this is more to focus on just increasing your overall range of motion, warming those muscles up. So really work that range of motion. Don't worry about going too quickly. Make sure you're just making those muscles work as much as you can while under a nice controlled position and without using extra weight. All right, we've got just a few seconds left until we move off to high kicks. And go ahead and switch, standing up nice and straight and tall. You're going to kick one leg out in front of you, reaching down towards that toe with the opposite hand as foot. So left hand to right foot, right hand to left foot. Try to keep that leg relatively straight. You can have a little bit of a bend in your knee. We're trying to warm up your hip flexor, the muscle through the front of that hip joint, as well as those abdominal muscles. But we're also trying to stretch that lower back and that hamstring to get a little bit more range of motion out of it for the motions that are coming up next. So make sure you're really trying to work that range of motion. Try not to kick it out of control. You want a nice controlled raise with that leg rather than an uncontrolled swing or kick. So got about 5 seconds left till we have a slow burpee coming up. And go ahead and start. Feet just about hip or shoulder width apart. Drop down. 1 foot comes out, then the next. Then 1 foot comes in, then the next. And you stand right back up again, hands over your head, before you drop back down and start that position again. Just like a regular burpee, you're just doing that leg motion a little bit slower. You're not hopping out with both feet. You're just moving 1 foot at a time, nice and slow. Just keep that motion going. Nice full extension on those legs, so really try to get to a full plank position when you have both those feet out, and make sure you're trying to get a really nice full extension over your head every single time you stand back up. We've got just about 5 seconds left until we have butt kickers. We're almost done with this warm-up. And start into those butt kickers, get those feet moving. Nice quick motion, barely letting that foot touch the ground before you bring it right back up again. We're getting towards the end of this warm-up, so you should have a little bit of a sweat going. At the very least, you should be nice and warm by this point. Those lungs should be working a little bit harder. You should be breathing a little bit more quickly, making sure that the rest of your body is nice and warm, and yet blood should be pumping around your body with no problem. Just keep those feet moving. The faster you move them, the more you're going to get out of this as far as that warm-up goes. We want you to get to the point where you're starting to actually get a little out of breath, and you're starting to break a sweat by the time you're done with this warm-up. So start pushing a little bit harder if you're not there already. We have one more thing to go, which is going to be jumping jacks. We've got a couple seconds to start. And start them up. Nice full jumping jack. Keep those arms as rigid as you can. Keep those legs as rigid as you can. Hopping those feet out at the same time as those arms cup over your head. And hopping those feet back in together. And those arms come down to your thighs. Just a nice quick motion back and forth. Try to get it going as quickly as you can. Like I said, this is your last exercise for this warm-up. So you really want to get yourself tired out before you move into that HIIT routine. So really push yourself on this jumping jack. Make sure you're moving as quickly as you can, keeping all those muscles nice and contracted, but don't forget to breathe. Keep those lungs open. We're almost done. Just 5 more seconds to go. Keep pushing it. Keep those lungs open. And let it relax. Good job. Go back to that boxer shuffle. Just keep those feet moving for a little bit longer. We're going to be moving into our core workout next. We have 15 different intervals to go through with 50 seconds on and 10 seconds off. So to get ready, go ahead and grab your exercise mat and let's drop down on the ground. Our first exercise is going to be 3 toe touches plus 2 single leg jackknives. And start it, 3 toe touches, and then 1 single leg jackknife on each side. 3 more toe touches. And again, 1 more single leg jackknife on each side. Very good. Make sure those core muscles are nice and tight. Never let them release. Always keeping them contracted through the entire exercise. At no point should you be letting them relax. Always try to keep that lower back flat against that mat. It's going to try to lift up on you the entire time, especially when you go to that full jackknife position. But try to keep that lower back down, flat against that mat, and try to keep those legs straight the entire time. Just keep it going. About 10 seconds left. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let it relax. Our next exercise is going to be a mini scissor kick. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and start it up. Get those feet going, crossing back and forth, left and right over top of each other. Make sure you're alternating which foot is on top every single time, with those legs out about a 45-degree angle. Keep those abs nice and tight, that back flat against that mat. And if you need to make it easier, you can always bring those legs more straight up and down. So the more perpendicular to the ground those legs are, the easier it's going to be for those abdominal muscles. Now on the other side, if you want to make it more difficult, then just drop those legs down close to the ground, like a couple inches off the ground, and it'll really make those abdominal muscles and those legs have to work a lot harder. So just choose a position you want. Just keep crossing those legs back and forth over top of each other. Got just about 10 seconds left. Keep those lungs open. Keep it going. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let it relax. Our next exercise is going to be plank steps. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and start it up. And go ahead and come up in that full plank position, walking those feet in and out. Make sure you're alternating which foot you lead with every single time. And to do that, all you're going to have to do is that last foot to come in, tap it, and bring it right back out again. And that should push you with a different foot starting than you did the time before. So just keep alternating back and forth, moving those feet in and out, making sure you're constantly leading with a different foot each time you start that progression, start that motion. But the main thing is try to keep those hips low, keep those legs straight, keep that back flat. Try to keep a straight line from shoulder to ankle. Those abs are going to have to work really hard. Those hip flexors and quadriceps are going to have to work really hard. So if they start getting a little bit tired and those hips start coming up, that's okay. Just try to keep them as low as you can. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let it relax. Our next exercise is a leg drop pull. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and start up. Slowly drop those legs down towards the ground, tuck those knees in towards your chest, heel to your butt, then slowly extend those legs back out again. Bring them straight up from the ground, all the way up straight over top of those hips, and then right back down again, hovering above the ground before you tuck those knees in. Just keep alternating back and forth. It's going to be really hard to get those legs back up from that bottom position once you extend those legs back out, but try to keep that leg as straight as you can. Try to keep that lower back flat against that mat. If you need to on the way back up, keep those knees slightly bent to make it a little bit easier, but make sure you're trying to do as hard of a version as you possibly can, trying to keep those legs as straight as you possibly can the entire time. Keep checking those abdominal muscles, keep that back against that mat, keep those lungs open. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let it relax. Our next exercise is a bicycle leg drop. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and start up. With this exercise, you're going to do a nice big circular motion with those feet. Every single time one leg comes down towards the ground, you're going to do a nice slow leg raise with that one leg, drop it back down, and then start that circular pattern over again with those feet. Just keep alternating back and forth, keep those abs nice and tight, keep those lungs open, just keep those feet moving. Now, if you need to make this exercise a little bit easier, instead of keeping a fully extended leg when you're raising that leg up, you can bend that knee slightly. The more you bend it, the easier it's going to be to lift it up. Or if you want to make it harder, then you're not going to bring that knee you tuck in towards your body quite as close. So keep that knee out away from you so that knee is right above that hip joint or even a little bit further out from that. Just makes those abs have to work a little bit harder. We're almost done. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let it relax. Our next exercise is going to be a circle crunch. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and start up. So starting laying flat on your back, like a traditional crunch, you're going to crunch up, but you're going to start up across the left, come up to the center, down across the right, back down to that center position, and then up across the right, back across the left, and back down again in the opposite direction. So just think of trying to draw a circle with your head. So making sure you're trying to get a really nice big range of motion, not only forward in a traditional crunch motion, but also left and right as you come up to the left, down to the right, or up to the right and down to the left. Just keep that motion going, keep those abs nice and tight. Try not to let them release when you drop back. Always try to keep them just a little bit tight. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let it relax. Our next exercise is going to be a swimmer pulse. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and start up. Starting this exactly like a traditional swimmer motion. One arm, one leg is going to come up, so that left arm, right leg, opposite arm and leg. Squeeze them up and pulse them twice, drop them down, then switch over the other side. Squeeze those up, pulse twice, and back down. Just keep those lungs open, keep that face facing down towards the ground the entire time. Constantly contracting through that lower back, through those glutes, and through those shoulders, keeping those hands and legs up off the ground. So the harder version is keeping those hands and feet hovering all the time. If you want to make it a little bit easier, you can always let that opposite arm and leg, the one you're not using, completely relax against the ground while that other side is up. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let it relax. Our next exercise is a downward dog with a knee tuck. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and start up. Go ahead and press up in that full downward dog. So you want to make sure you have a nice straight line from wrist to hip and hip down to ankle, trying to shove those heels down into the ground the entire time. Feet just about hip to shoulder width apart. Then you're going to drop those hips down, tucking one knee up underneath you. Try to tuck it up towards your chest as much as you possibly can, trying to get those hips to kind of drop down a little bit, almost coming down into like a plank position, so straight line from shoulder to ankle. Then you push right back up to that downward facing dog and pull that opposite knee under the next time. Every single time you pull that knee under, you want to actually bring it across underneath your body, so you're trying to get, say, like your left knee across to your right hand and your right knee across to your left hand. We're almost done. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let it relax. Our next exercise is a side plank drop with a kick. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and start up. Starting on that right side, on that elbow and that knee, the left leg kicked out nice and straight. You're going to drop that hip down towards the ground, hover it just a little bit, squeeze it right back up, nice tight squeeze, and then kick that leg straight in front up towards your hand. Slowly extend it back out in a straight line with your body before you drop that hip again. Just keep alternating back and forth between those two motions, making sure you're keeping a really nice tight squeeze to those abs, that lower back, and those obliques, as well as to the outside of that thigh of that knee that you have on the ground. Just keep that motion going, keeping those lungs open. We are almost done, just about 10 seconds left. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let it relax. All right, we're going to do that same exact exercise, this time on the opposite side. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and start up. This time up on your left elbow and knee with that right leg out extended. Remember, drop those hips down nice and low, hover them just off the ground, squeeze them right back up with a nice straight line through your body before you kick that leg straight out in front of you, trying to reach it out with that hand, then slowly extend that leg back out in line with your body before you drop those hips back down. Make sure you're keeping those abs, back, and obliques nice and tight the entire time. Make sure you're contracting to the outside of that thigh as well. Just keep those lungs open and keep that motion going nice and smooth. And we're almost done. Just keep it going. Got 10 seconds left. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let it relax. Our next exercise is going to be a Russian twist. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and start up. Sitting on that tailbone, keep that back perfectly flat as you rotate those shoulders left to right. If you want the harder version, just like Kelly did, bring those feet up off the ground. Just makes those core muscles have to work that much harder. The further you lean back with that chest and extend those legs out for counterbalance, the harder it's going to be. The more straight up and down you keep that chest, the easier it's going to be. So just kind of move into whatever position you need to try to get the most challenge you can, as long as you can still control it. The main thing you want to focus on is keeping nice control under the motion the entire time, never kind of swinging those arms around, keeping that back nice and flat the entire time. Just keep those lungs open, keep that motion going, really focusing on trying to get as much rotation left to right as you can. You have under 10 seconds left to go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let it relax. Our next exercise is going to be flutter kicks. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and start up. Laying flat on your back, those hands flat down against the ground. Make sure those hands are not underneath your butt. You don't want to place them underneath your butt, otherwise that makes those abs not have to work anywhere near as hard. So keep those hands out really nice and wide away from those hips, moving those feet back and forth, completely extended for the hardest version. Really nice big sweeping motion with those legs. Make sure they're always under control though. You should be able to stop at any point during this motion and just control it and hold it right there. So don't let those legs get out of control. Always keeping that thigh, the top of that thigh contracted, that quadricep, as well as that hamstring and inside-outside thigh to keep those legs under control, going in a nice straight line. Make sure those abs are nice and tight, pressing that lower back flat against that mat. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let it relax. Our next exercise is going to be a reclined oblique twist. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and start up. So laying back, propping yourself up with that left elbow, you're going to reach across with your right hand down towards your left leg. Again, try to keep that left leg nice and straight. Bring it straight up, about a 45-degree angle off of your hip, or even straight up perpendicular off the ground. Just make sure you're getting a really good rotation to those shoulders with that right arm, that right shoulder, crunching up towards that left leg. So just keep that motion going, keep those lungs open. Now I know those abs and that leg are going to be really nice and tired. If you want to, you can switch off to the easier version like Kelly just did here. Keeping that leg flat down against the ground, but still crunching forward and across with that right hand. Just keep it going as long as you can. If you want to, or if you can, go back to that full extension on that leg to make it that much harder. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let it relax. Good job. Now we get to do the same thing on the other side. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and start up. So this time, propping yourself up with that right elbow, reaching up and across with your left hand towards your right foot. Keep that right leg nice and extended. Bring it straight up as close to your body as you can as you rotate that left shoulder forward and across, trying to get your hand as close to that foot as you can without bending that knee. So try to keep it as straight as you can. That knee's going to want to bend on you a little bit, which is perfectly fine. The straighter you keep that leg, the harder it's going to be. If you want to make it a little bit easier, keep that knee bent a little bit more, or like Kelly just did here, keep that leg completely flat against the ground. Just keep that motion going. Try to mimic the same number of repetitions with a full extension on this one as you did on the opposite leg. We're almost done, just about 10 seconds left. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let it relax. Our next exercise is going to be 5 toe touch crunches plus an overhead stretch. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and start up. So contracting those thighs, keeping those legs nice and straight, right up above that hip joint. You're going to crunch up towards those toes, doing a toe touch crunch 5 times. Keep those shoulder blades up really nice and high. Then drop those shoulder blades down, stretch those hands over top of your head, let those abs release for just a second, but keep those legs up there. Then come right back up, another 5 crunches. Just keep that motion going, keep those lungs open, make sure you're getting a really nice tight squeeze, trying to get those shoulders up off the ground as high as you possibly can, reaching up towards those toes as much as you can for every single one of those repetitions on that toe touch crunch. Every single time you drop back down, stretching those hands over your head, you can let those abs release and rest for a split second, but go right back into those toe touch crunches as quick as you can. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let it relax. Nicely done. That was the last exercise of our core portion of this routine, which means we're going to give you a nice little water break here before you start into HIIT. So go ahead and grab a drink of water, take a little bit of a breather. We'll be back in just a few seconds. All right, we just have a few seconds until we start into our HIIT portion of this workout. We are going to be doing 20 seconds on and 10 seconds off, 4 times through per exercise. And we're going to go ahead and get this started off with our first exercise, which is going to be squat pops. Remember, 4 times through for each one. And start it up. There's a really nice quick hop motion with those feet, so pop those feet out about twice shoulder width apart, squat down, nice deep squat, one hand drops down to the ground, then back up, squat down again for the next one, but that opposite hand goes down. Make sure you alternate. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let it relax. That's 1 down. We got 3 more rounds to go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and start up. Now again, make sure you're moving really nice and quick, hopping those feet in and out nice and fast, getting a deep squat every single time, reaching forward with one hand at a time, down to the ground, barely touching the ground, and back up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let it relax. Good job. That's 2 down, 2 more to go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and start up. Keep that motion quick, keep it under control, make sure you keep those lungs open and all those muscles of your core and those arms are contracted as well as working those legs. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let it relax. That's 3 down. We just have 1 more round to go. Make sure you push it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and start up. You get a little longer rest break after this one, so make sure you're pushing it as hard as you can. Nice, deep, full range of motion on that squat every single time. Nice, quick hop back up every single time. Just keep it going. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let it relax. Good job. That was the last round of those, which means we're moving on to our next exercise, the burpee thigh slap. Now, this is a brutal exercise, but try to push through it as hard as you possibly can. Make sure you're trying to drive those knees as much as possible. If you need to make it easier, you can always switch off to a regular high knee. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and start up. Like I said, this is a rough exercise, but try to do it as clean as you can. Out to a full plank position, bring those feet back underneath you, nice quick jump, driving those knees up, bring those knees up to those hands rather than those hands down to those knees. Just keep it going. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let it relax. Good job, that was our first one done. We got 3 more to go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and start up. Now you know what to expect on this round. Just keep that form as clean as you can. I know that body and those legs are going to be screaming at you the entire time to quit, but just keep pushing through it. If you need to slow down, that's fine. Just don't stop moving. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let it relax. Very good job. That's 2 down. We got 2 more to go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and start up. Make sure you're still focusing on a nice clean form on this one, getting those legs all the way out for that burpee, kicking those legs out to that full plank position, then driving those knees up as hard and as high as you can up to those hands rather than those hands down to those knees. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let it relax. Good job. We have just 1 more round to go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and start up. I know that body's me telling you to stop. You can see Kelly's face telling you that she can't believe she's doing another round of this, but keep trying to push through it. Try to keep up with Kelly. If you can, move even faster than her. We're almost done. This is your last round. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let it relax. Very well done. That was a really hard exercise to push through. We've got one that's just a little bit easier coming up next. It's a broad jump plus 2 jumping jacks. So take a little bit of a breather. We'll be starting into this in just under 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and start up. Do a nice long broad jump forward, 2 jumping jacks, then a 180-degree turn, and start it back the opposite direction. Make sure that every single time you do that turn, you do it in the opposite direction, so you're doing it both to the left and the right rather than always in the same direction. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let it relax. Good job. That's 1 down, 3 more to go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and start up. Again, nice long broad jump, 2 jumping jacks, nice and quick. Then that jump back again. Make sure all those muscles through your body are nice and tense, keeping those lungs open, trying to push 100% into that jump every single time. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let it relax. 2 down, 2 more to go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and start up. Just keep focusing on that nice clean form. Make sure those jumping jacks are nice and solid, nice and quick. Make sure every single muscle through your core, your abdominal muscles, obliques, lower back, as well as those legs are tense the entire time. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let it relax. Nicely done. That is 3 down. We just have 1 more round to go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and start up. Nice long full broad jump. Remember, this is your last round, so 100% effort with every single motion you're doing, every single jump, every single jumping jack, keeping that body moving constantly. We only have a few seconds left to go, so keep pushing through it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let it relax. Very well done. That's the last one of those, which means we're moving on to our next exercise, which is going to be lateral jumps. So you want to stay really nice and low on this one. Again, 100% effort, jumping as far as you can, left to right, every single time, no stopping. We're going to start up here in just a few seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and start up. Now, like I said, try to keep those hips nice and low. You want all that effort going left to right, jumping as wide as you can rather than jumping up. So try to keep that motion just left to right, keeping those hips a relatively constant height. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let it relax. Well done. That is 1 down. We got 3 more to go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and start up. Again, nice wide jump, 100% effort. If you want to make it a little bit easier, then let that rear trailing leg actually touch down for a little bit of extra support when you land. Otherwise, keep it up off the ground hovering to make it a little bit harder. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let it relax. And that's 2 rounds down, 2 more to go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and start up. 100% effort on each one of those jumps. Make sure you're keeping those lungs open, trying to get a really nice broad jump every single time, keeping all those muscles under control, all those limbs under control. Just keep it going. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let it relax. That's 3 down. We just have 1 more round to go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and start up. With this last round, make sure you're pushing 100% effort on each one of those jumps, trying to get as wide as you possibly can, keeping those hips low. I know those legs are tired, but try to keep those lungs open and keep those legs moving. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let it relax. Good job. That was your last one of those, which means you are done with that exercise. We're going to give you a little extra break here to go and grab a drink of water if you want one. If you need a little extra rest, feel free to hit the pause button. Otherwise, we'll be starting back in just a second. All right, let's go and get ready for our next exercise, which is going to be a traditional push-up. Remember, again, we're doing 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off, 4 times through. And start them up. Now you can do these off your knees or off your toes. Remember, you're doing 4 rounds of this, so you can start with your toes and then always move to your knees if you need to, but try to do the hardest version you can. Nice full extension on those arms, trying to get down as low to the ground as you can each time. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let it relax. Nicely done. That's 1 round down. We got 3 more to go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and start up. Concentrate on that form, trying to make sure you keep a nice straight line from that shoulder all the way down to that knee if you're doing a half version, or from that shoulder all the way down to that ankle if you're doing a full version. Just try to keep going through it. Nice clean form. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let it relax. That's 2 down, 2 more to go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and start up. Keep those lungs open, really focus on that full range of motion on those arms, trying to get down to the ground, barely hovering off the ground, all the way up to a full extension on that arm, but don't completely lock that elbow out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let it relax. That's 3 down, just 1 more round to go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and start up. This is your last round, and I know those arms are pretty much giving out on you by this point, but try to keep pushing through it. Nice full range of motion the entire time. Try to keep your speed up as much as you possibly can, keeping that form clean. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let it relax. Very good job. Go ahead and let those arms completely relax. That is the last one of those, which means we're moving on to our next exercise, the lunge with a tap and a kick. So make sure you get a nice full range of motion on that leg. We're doing it just on one side of the body this time. We'll do the same thing on the other side for the next round. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and start up. Standing on that left leg, just moving that right, kicking that right leg in front of you, and then kicking it back behind you, dropping down to the ground, touching the ground with that right hand, and then right back up again for another kick. Just keep that motion going. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let it relax. Good job. That's 1 down, 3 more to go, same side. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and start up. So you want to do this motion as quickly as you can, but you also always want to be under control. So make sure you're moving as quickly as you can, as long as you can control it, making sure that all those muscles through your upper body and through those legs are constantly contracted, keeping everything controlled. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let it relax. Good job. We're going to switch off to the other side for these last 2 rounds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and start up. So this time standing on that right leg, kicking that left leg, and reaching down towards the ground with that left hand. So make sure you're doing the same exact motion, trying to keep the same speed up that you did on the other side. Just make sure, again, you're keeping it under control. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let it relax. That's 3 down, just 1 more to go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and start up. Again, keep that motion as quick as you can, but make sure it's under control. Keep those lungs open, but keep all those muscles to your legs, your core, and your upper body contracted to help you keep control of that motion. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let it relax. Good job. That was the last one of those, which means we're moving on to the next exercise, the 3-2-1 squats. So with this one, you're going to be dropping down to 3 different positions, pausing at 3 different positions. And then once you get down to the bottom, it's a nice, quick, hard jump as high as you can, and then you start it over. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and start up. You want to break that squat into 3 different sections, pausing at each one of those points. Once you get all the way down to the bottom, jump as hard as you possibly can, nice full jump squat, then start right back into it again. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let it relax. That's 1 round down. We got 3 more to go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and start up. Focus on keeping those knees bent, always in a little bit of a squat the entire time, never completely locking your knees out and letting your legs rest. You want those legs to constantly be having to work. Just keep it going. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let it relax. Nicely done. 2 down, 2 more to go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and start up. Make sure you're getting 100% effort on every single squat jump, really trying to get up off the ground as high as you possibly can before you jump right back into that squat pulse again. 3 different positions, constantly working those legs. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let it relax. That's 3 down. We just have 1 more round to go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and start up. This is your last round through this, so make sure every single one of those jump squats is as hard as you possibly can. Get as much distance off the ground as possible. Nice slow recoil, dropping down 3 different positions on that squat. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let it relax. Nicely done. That was the last one of those, which means we're also done with our HIIT portion of this routine, which all we have left is our cool down and stretch. So let's go ahead and get started. So go into a boxer shuffle, keep those feet moving, keep that heart rate up just a little bit, start bringing it down nice and slow. Just gradually start slowing these motions down as you go through each one of them. Our next exercise coming up, it's going to be an up and over side step. And start up. So those hands come swinging up over top of your head, down to one foot. The other foot kind of kicks back behind you. Just keep alternating back and forth, side to side, stretching those arms and legs out. Just a few more seconds of this one. We'll be moving on to shoulder rolls next. And go ahead and switch it. Nice big full range of motion on that shoulder, squeezing it up towards those ears, down in front. Then squeezing up towards those ears and down and back. Just making a nice big circular motion with that shoulder. Really trying to stretch out that back and that chest. Squeeze those shoulders up to those ears as high as you can each time. And just a few more seconds until we switch off to a toe touch circle. And go ahead and switch it. So dropping down across the left side, up across the right, pause at the top, and then back down the opposite side. Just alternating back and forth. Trying to get a really good rotation on that chest as well as swinging through those legs, trying to make sure you're stretching out those hamstrings as you drop down towards those toes. Our next one coming up in a few seconds is going to be a torso twist. And start up, rotating that torso back and forth, Just rotating those shoulders as far as you can from left to right. Try to keep those hips relatively straight forward, but you can stretch them from side to side as well if you want to get a little extra stretch to that leg, to that hip joint also. Now our next stretch coming up is going to be an inside thigh plus a shoulder stretch, so go ahead and move into that one. You're going to step out with one foot, bend that knee, that other leg stays straight, drop that hip down towards that leg to stretch the inside of that thigh, at the same time as pulling one arm across in front of your chest. Just hold it there. You should be stretching across that shoulder blade for that arm, inside of that thigh for that leg. Go ahead and switch sides. Same exact thing, just reverse sides. Pulling that arm across in front of your chest as close as you can to stretch out the back of that shoulder blade into that shoulder socket. Then kneeling off or leaning off toward one side. Keep that leg straight, that rear leg straight, leaning back towards that straight leg. Next is a hip flexor plus a tricep stretch. So one leg forward, kind of in a lunge position. Keep that rear leg straight, really pushing forward onto that front leg to keep that rear leg behind you, stretching the front of that thigh, front of that hip. And you also want to be bringing one arm up over top of your head, reaching that hand back towards that shoulder to stretch out that tricep. So I'm doing the same exact thing on the other side. So one hand up over top of your head, reaching back towards that same shoulder as hand, and then lunging forward with the opposite leg you were last time. That rear leg nice and straight, forcing that hip flexor, the front of that hip, to stretch out. So really focusing on that tricep of the arm you have tucked up behind you, as well as the hip flexor of the leg you have back behind you, nice and straight. So we have a quad stretch coming up next. You can be up against a wall if you need a little extra help for balance, or the back of a chair. Pull one heel up towards your butt, squeeze it in really nice and tight. Chest straight up and down, pulling that knee back behind you until you get a good stretch to the front of that thigh. We're going to switch off to the other side here in just a second. Go ahead and switch feet. Again, if you need something for balance, feel free to lean on the back of a chair, up against a wall. Just try to use it as little as possible, because you still want to improve your balance with this one. You still want those muscles to have to work to improve that balance, so you can do this without in the future. Got a downward facing dog coming up next. So feet just about hip or shoulder width apart. Walk those hands out. Nice straight line from wrist to hip and hip to ankle, trying to make a triangle off the floor. Going to do a hip opener next, so leg up over top of your head, so just one leg at a time. Pull it up really nice and high. Tuck that heel back to your butt, just constantly trying to open up that hip, kind of rotate it off to the side. We're going to go ahead and switch off to the other side, so that opposite leg is going to come up. Same exact thing, tuck that heel down towards that butt, trying to constantly open that hip up off to the side while still holding that downward facing dog position. Pressing those heels down into the ground, chest down towards those toes. And lay flat down on the ground. We're going to move on to a cobra next. So hands about the base of your rib cage. Press into the palm of that hand, arch that chest up, looking up towards the ceiling. Just go as high as you can. If you can't completely lock out those elbows, that's perfectly fine. Just go as high as is comfortable for you. Keep those lungs open, breathing normally, trying to relax. And let that one release. We're going to go into a deep glute stretch next, so roll over onto your back. One leg over top of the other. Grab behind the thigh of that one leg. Don't grab in front of your knee. You don't want to grab your shin because you don't want to compress that knee. Only grab behind that thigh, pulling that leg in as close as you can. The one that's crossed over top is the one you're going to feel the stretch in, down inside that hip socket, down across that glute muscle, that butt muscle. Just keep pulling in as close as is comfortable. You can do the same thing on the other side. Cross that other leg over top, grab behind that thigh, pull it in nice and tight. Just breathing normally. Again, the leg that's crossed over top is the one that you're going to feel this stretch in, down inside that hip socket, down in that glute muscle, that butt muscle of that leg. And go ahead and let that relax. We're going to sit you back up. We're going to do a butterfly stretch next. So soles of your feet facing in towards each other. Pull those feet in as close as you can. Round that chest over if you want a little extra stretch for that lower back. But using the muscles to the outside of that thigh to pull those legs down towards the ground as much as you can to stretch the inside of that thigh through that groin area. Again, keep those lungs open, breathing normally. You've got a toe touch stretch coming up next, so both those feet straight out, legs nice and straight, stretching down towards those toes. If you can't get to those toes, that's perfectly fine. Just go as far as you can, trying to round that back over as much as you can while still keeping those legs nice and straight. Take a few really nice, full, deep breaths and let it relax completely. That was our last stretch, which means this workout is complete. Very well done, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.